Podcast Network. I'm Matthew. He's Chris. This is Andrew, who built this amazing B1 battle droid. So, first of all, I need to talk to you. We're going to get to Dark Droids number 3 in a second. But, gotta say, walk us through and tell us about this thing.
Yeah. This is battle droid, battle television. It's a droids one of the size of the ships. I got files and I asked for modifiers so we could see it. So we can help raise money for big wishes we go. So he's here at your Comic Con helping out. Legion Angle Base, Michael First, Lexi Garrison, and then the Bugs, Saber Note, raise money for big. So for here, come up the river pavilion on the 4th floor. We have this really awesome Star Wars props and stuff to take a look at.
Yeah. You guys doing good with the Revolution? You guys doing good with the number 3 their own thing. And so, yes, he got the file and then he made a custom, just to give some catch up camera, but he made a custom that the lightsaber go right through there.
Come on, here's what's going on.
How long did this take you to go?
I've been working on it for
5 months, guys. 5 months. How many hours a day?
It's got over 20 hours in it.
Oh my god.
That's pretty sweet.
Printing, painting, stamping, assembling.
Yeah. And the best part about this, if you want to really stress this, it's all for Make-A-Wish Foundation.
Come on, take 3 photos. It's great to Make-A-Wish. Penny or $1 bucks. Whatever you feel like donating, sign up, donate it. We don't keep any of the money.
Yeah. What's really neat is actually seeing a CG creation in the Phantom Menace in physical form and seeing like how tall this thing is. Yeah, like I'm about 5'11", and this thing is, it's pretty cool. And like it's still that it's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. Yeah. It's great. Rebel Legion, the 5 Star Wars costume groups always have great presence at New York Comic Con. It's nice to see you guys have like a bigger space this time around. The last year,
they're going to be bigger every year.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
Take over the river pavilion. Here we go. So let's move right along. We're in the presence of a droid and the droid family with Rebel Legion. Dark Droids number 3, written by Charles Soule.
Super awesome artwork.
Yeah. All that, yeah. All the creative. It's there. I'll put in the description down below. Chris, I'll throw this to you. You just did your recap. What do you think of Dark Droids number 3?
Yeah, Dark Droids number 3 was a lot of horrific fun, and basically there was a lot of cyborg. Some of the coolest Darth Vader action in this thing. I mean, Darth Vader breaking out of the Bacta meditation chamber by Dark Troopers, and then continues to be powerful enough in the Force to take these things out without his lightsaber, without his limbs, just on the ground, just being able to overcome that. But then also seeing awesome moments with this revolutionary droid, Ajax Sigma, as Centurion armor plummeting through space with his gang of awesome droids, taking out droids versus droids.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Seeing the manifestation of the Scourge in this like Sauron-esque entity, this black like spiked armor. Then they transformed that initial Star Destroyer into this Leviathan of a gothic, crazy, nightmarish vehicle. It was so cool.
Yeah, the best thing about this comic, and I keep saying this with Charles Soule, the best thing about Charles Soule is his pacing, is his ability to draw you in. Definitely with the Luke Ross part, able to really get you to feel like you're engaged and engrossed in the story. And so, this could have been, for me, the highlight could have been all the Vader action. Everything you see without the limbs, but still able to manipulate objects, of course. The great moment, great reference to the Vader number 25, just with the phantom limbs, in his meditation, in his darkness, in his heroism. But even within that, it was still very clearly a Dark Droid story. Very clearly, Ajax Sigma and the Scourge and Vader is this other thing. And that was a very tough challenge for Charles and Luke to do. Charles and Luke Ross to do is to say Vader doesn't take over the story.
Yep.
It's still, like you mentioned with Ajax Sigma, and again differentiating between the enlightened ones of Ajax Sigma group and these droid persons who have chosen the dark side with the Scourge. And to continue this, to move this forward, one question remaining is with 3PO. What is 3PO going to be involved in here? I'm wondering, he is on Mustafar. He may be, is he going to be some sort of bridge into Vader? If Charles Soule, being the prequel study, we know he is, Phantom Menace here, is 3PO's memories being built by Anakin? Give me some sort of connection. We'll see. So, again, that's still, the Scourge trying to use the human story to actually feed and feast. But, well, if you have any feelings.
Yeah, I like, again, the crazy part about Grayer and October are in the perfect place.
Oh, yeah, the droid with the limbs.
With limbs. You're seeing droid bodies with human skulls of their brains, and it's just absolutely just that gothic, nightmarish horror that it fits well with Star Wars. I feel like this sci-fi element, fantasy element, but then the horror element's kind of always been there in the background, but this story is specifically putting it on center stage as a spotlight.
There was even a nice little nod to Kevin Scott's Tales from Vader's Castle, which canon-wise is kind of iffy or weird, but there's like the shadow in the Mustafar, in the Vader's Castle. There's one scene where there's a ghost coming out, ghost of Vader's Castle. So just one little panel, and that they still
not catch that. Then we have to read it for a third time now. This is one of those issues I immediately wanted to go back and read again. There's so many awesome moments. This is really the best issue, I think, because it's got the explanation, and it's drawing in things like bounty hunters. Right? Remember in the last issue of Bounty Hunters, they said, see Dark Droids number 3, because they wanted Tyler Valence's body, and we don't know why. Now it makes sense. Vader's too powerful. They tried it. Sorry, can't take over Vader. What's the next thing down? We can take over Tyler Valence. We can take over Magnum Sullivan, or we can take over Lobot. Like I said in my review, Lobot is going to make it fine. In the Lando book, Last Shot, he's all around Bespin, so that's fine. Magnum Sullivan or Tyler Valence. Tyler Valence is probably not going to make it. I'll call that out. I don't think he's making it out of this era of Star Wars, but it's nice to know where things are going now, and we're getting more of the why. Why are they focusing on the cyborgs now? Where's the story going? And Dark Droids in general is just a nice way of doing a crossover, because nothing is you have to read this to get this. It's their own compartmentalized stories that fall into place and enrich the overall part of everything.
Yeah, and I talk about Vader not taking over the story. But every single week I have to bring it up and say, this is making the beeline to Return of the Jedi. This is the return of Anakin Skywalker. Delving into this side of it, the cyborg side of it. We've delved into the human side of it. Charles Soule through his Darth Vader comic 2017, Kieran Gillen the 2015 comic, delving into the human side of Anakin. Now, finally, we're getting the cyborg side of Anakin, of Vader, and how that has to come to an end somehow. I'm really excited. This is finally they've perfected the Star Wars. They finally perfected it.
It took them 3 or 4 attempts, but I think we're there now.
So looking forward to what comes next. A bit of transition, fun transition here. So I mentioned Return of the Jedi, and everything to do with Anakin. We went to one of the things. This is also our New York Comic Con Day 1 recap. Right now. So one of the things we both sat in on was the fact bomb panel, Return of the Jedi fact bomb.
From a certain point of view.
That one. That's what it stands for. Just to clarify. And I'll say I was really struck by a few things. Well, first of all, you were struck by, you mentioned a lot of the new authors. You get into that in a second. Speaking of Anakin, they all trying to so the opening question was, what does Return of the Jedi mean to you? And in our prequel stage, and I'm going to do this one, in 2023, what it means, Return of the Jedi means, is Return of the Singular Jedi, Anakin Skywalker, and how for them that redemption arc really comes through in what Anakin is able to do in that film, even if it's just a few moments. And so to see, I haven't read the Fact Bob yet. I need to, I admit, to see the theme of redemption, to see the theme of villainy, but the villainy always has an end. And that is Return of the Jedi. It is the heroic happy ending you finally get for now. But to see that works through in all these other side character stories in the Fact Bob. I'm really looking forward to reading it now. What are some things that struck you about that film?
Yeah, I just like the idea of a new talent. We had Jason Pratt there. He was the only established author that's been doing so. All the rest authors are brand new to Star Wars. There's 6 panels, so 5 panels are new. So I fully expect to see some of these talented folks up on a future publishing panel, maybe down the line at some point, maybe next year Comic-Con or whatever convention, right? So it's always good to get new blood because there are a lot of authors that are used over and over again, and that's not a bad thing, but it's good to get the new perspectives at all times, right? Different people, different outlooks, different whatever, right? That's what Star Wars is great for. But I liked getting in the headspace of these authors, knowing why they chose the character viewpoints they did. Because I thought it was interesting too. I turned to Matthew and I said, "Oh, this is how they pick the authors. The authors don't, solicit work from Lucasfilm. You have the editors like Elizabeth Schaefer or Tom Hoagland reaching out to these authors that are already established, and they say, "Oh, we'd like to do a Star Wars story." And then they go and say, "Okay, I will do this." And they pitch them the idea. So it's Lucasfilm that reaches out first. So I thought that was cool. Just a quick aside, but I kind of dwelled on it because it's you often hear people that want to get involved in writing Star Wars. The simple thing is write your own stories first, and then they will reach out to you if you fall in that fantasy sci-fi.
Which is the case of these authors too.
Yeah. So that's basically, I like the creative process of what's actually getting a writer to write. So I thought that was good. But just generally, the person saying, "Oh, it was a meme that the guy kicked. Luke Skywalker kicked the guy in the face and he fell into the Sarlacc pit." That was such a meme. Or the guy that loved Dexter Jester and somebody on Twitter had said something about it. And he remembered that. He said, "I'm going to write that darn story of what happened to him after Attack of the Clones. I'm doing it." So it was really neat to seeing the creative juices flowing and how these people pick the stories. So I think that resonated with me the most out of that panel.
Yeah, another thing that it's interesting, and first of all, I won't say that's a side thing. I think that's a major purpose, at least in the real world focus on what these Fact Bobs are about, is giving these new authors a chance, seeing how they do in the sandbox, in George Lucas' sandbox, and seeing, okay, who does something interesting, who does something new, give them an opportunity to experiment. There's a lot of experimental stories, a lot of stories of characters no one would think of. Give them an opportunity to do something and see what happens. Maybe that can be developed into something. Maybe they are the talent that they're looking for. I mean, it's just the way, the way Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford were discovered, right?
Yeah,
maybe not so much Harrison Ford, but the way Daisy Ridley and John Boyega were discovered. Similar kind of thing that Star Wars is able to do, bring these talented creatives in and see what they can do. So I wouldn't say it's a side point. Don't sell yourself short. That's a main point for these Fact Bobs. And see, again, give them a full novel, give them more publishing initiatives. I mean, that's happened for, I don't quite know who else it's happened for. Maybe Alyssa Wong.
Oh, yeah.
And some others. I know E.K. Johnston, I believe. Maybe she did a Fact Bob in there. But yeah, a few others, yeah, definitely was the case. One last thing for me from that panel stood out is the way this Fact Bob, all 3 of them, have demonstrated the lived-in universe of Star Wars. That one of them said, most characters, most people in that universe, they don't have superpowers. They're not Jedi. They're not Sith. They're not space wizards. They're normal folks like you and me. They're podcasters. They're engineers. They're whoever. They're teachers. And say, who are those folks? There are some folks who are stuck in these systems because they got to work for Java, even though they don't want to, because they really just rather quit their job. Because someone vacation isn't approved. My vacation was approved. I'm here on vacation.
Wasn't, so I gotta pull out of work.
So you gotta deal with that. But
retail.
If you're live on YouTube, there we go. But there are folks who are difficult work situations, life situations, and Star Wars has always been good at showing that. But this book and these books can show that even more deeply, more profoundly, more relatable. So really, really fascinated, intrigued by that as they continue to. Near the end of it, I turned to Chris and said, 16 years from now, but it's a menace at 40.
We're gonna get a B1 battle droid story about them having some kind of revolution in its brain core and it's able to get self-realization.
There we go. We better
tie back the droids.
Yeah,
Dark Droids.
We better have something to do with these B1s. So, very quickly, I also was at the Ewan McGregor panel.
Oh yeah.
We talked about making tea. We talked about motorcycles. Talked about gray cardigans. He did not say the word Star Wars once. Because he owns and it is really unfortunate the production companies refusing to share their vast wealth with the actors, and so still the strike continues. Credit to Ewan for showing up and for expressing his appreciation to us as fans, that he was happy to be here with us. And of course, he wanted to talk about the work that he's been doing. He wants to talk about Star Wars. He did say hello there, but that was it. And so, so that was the Ewan McGregor panel. Did get a bunch of autographs. Was able to pick up Charles Soule's indie comics, different things. But yeah, it's been a good start, I'll say. I feel like I'm just starting. Just the water.
It's crazy. Like we're walking down the street, we just got some slices of pizza, and I'm thinking to myself, like, this is only day 1 out of 4.
Yeah.
We still got 3 more days of this. So it's kind of like the journey, not the sprint, right? Marathon, not a sprint.
That's a
Comic-Con.
That's a con.
You can't go too hard the first day or two because there's a lot more to see, a lot more to do. Coming up on the docket, Star Wars Wise tomorrow is the David Tennant panel. I'm assuming he's not going to be saying anything about Star Wars either. So there's that. Doctor Who, you can talk or you're off about that. There's also a Star Wars meetup on Saturday, cosplay meetup. And Sunday is the big one, the Lucasfilm Publishing panel, really at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. You're going to want to watch your Twitter feeds because I'm sure they're going to be revealing some stuff some people will tweet about. So that's when you'll be paying attention online for some cool reveals, hopefully.
And we'll definitely react to it right here on Star Wars Underworld channel, on your channel, Star After. On that note, it's been our near Comic-Con recap. Where can they find you on the internet?
They can find me on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days, Star Raptor, over there talking about things like Star Wars, skateboarding, video games, YouTube.com. Oh yeah, I tried Lords of the Fallen. It's a Souls-like game in the veins of Dark Souls and Elden Ring. I got to go in this nice air-conditioned bus and had this beautiful Vizio screen. I'll emphasize Vizio because apparently I was on IGN. They were interviewing me playing the game commentary, and I said LG, thanks to the lovely screens on LG. They're like, oh, that's not the right. We might have to edit that part out. So apparently I'm going to be on Instagram story with IGN at some point.
Yeah.
So there's that. But yeah, I played that today, so that was fun. But yeah, that's basically about it. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/StarRaptor. Where you'll find us going live every Sunday, Outer Room Transmission podcast. Do these comic book talk every Thursday, 12:15 p.m. on the Star Wars Underworld Network on YouTube, and all that good stuff. So yeah, I think that's
yeah. And as you mentioned, 12:15 Thursdays usually. Tractor Beam. This week's been a little different, little off because we're here at the con, but Tractor Beam every Thursday 12:15. Grab your lunch, grab your comics Eastern time. 9:15 a.m. Pacific. Grab your breakfast. Also the Iron Cannon podcast. Not this coming Monday because I'll be traveling, but usually every Monday 8:30 p.m. Eastern, 5:30 p.m. Pacific. Both of those right here on the Star Wars Underworld YouTube channel, and check us out at Ion Cannon Pod, EYEONCANONPOD on Twitter, Instagram, and Threads, at the SWU, at all those wonderful things.
Yep.
This has been your Comic-Con Day 1 recap. Shout out to Andrew and the Rebel Legion and his incredible work. Come and donate to Make-A-Wish Foundation here in the River Pavilion. Come say hi to us. We're here. We're enjoying it. We're happy to bring you Star Wars Underworld's coverage of your Comic-Con 2023. And that's all she wrote.
all right.